Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Since the last episode, I went around and updated my supply stations with silos. Okay, so these all have a silo. We've got silos on all the copper. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is using bulk loaders or unloaders at this point. I mean, except for the fluids and the uranium for the fuel up here, but that's just because those are fairly small quantities. I don't think we need to change the silos up there. Let's see how we're doing here. We've got some... Okay, we're right on the cusp. I guess I'm always going to get some oscillation back and forth here, but I know what I can do. Let's head up there. I'll set it up so that the two inserters are working on different numbers, so they don't oscillate because of the stack size bonus. Because I've got it set so that one activates if it's less than, what was it, 20,000 or 25,000, and the other one activates if it's equal to or above. So what I need to do is get the second one to activate when it's like, you know, say 25,015 or something like that. All right. Yeah, so this one inserts when it's greater than 25, and this one moves it when it's less than 25. So if it's right around 25, it's going to keep doing this. So greater than 25, let's make this less than or equal to 24,985, let's say. There we go. Perfect. That way we won't get so much, we won't get oscillation. Not that it's hurting anything, but it's kind of silly. The other thing I've done since the last episode is expanded the rail network by a couple of grid squares. I also decided to grab this stone mine here. So I set up stone 1 is what I'm calling it. And I did that because you can see here that back at our main base, our stone is almost depleted. Says it'll be gone in another hour and a half at our present rate of consumption, which is not very long at all. What I'm using all that stone brick on, I'm really not sure at this point. Where's it all going? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're using it for purple science to make the electric furnaces. So that's where all the stone brick is going. So that won't last too much longer. Iron in the main base still has a number of hours left, so I think we're good there. Although we are bringing in now additional iron. I did set this up so that we can continue to empty this out as quickly as we can and just augment it with iron that we bring in from the outside. But it's still going to take a while to get through it. And then the coal will also take a while, especially now that we're not doing any research. Although I suppose I could do some. You know, I want to go for the achievement anyway, where everything is researched. So actually, let's just use. I'm going to enable the military stuff, and we'll enable auto research. One thing I notice is when I hit Shift T to open my auto research, my to-do list also opens up. And that's because they're using the same key. So let me make a change here. The to-do list, I honestly, how can I just, let's say control, there we go, control grave. I'm never going to use that key combination for anything. All right, let's try it now. Shift T. There we go. That's better. Okay, so let's go back to the main base. I think what I'll do first is set up a train station for the stone. And then I want to start working on the circuits area. I'm just trying to figure out where I should put the train station for the stone, because I didn't leave myself much room for that. Because this oil is kind of in the way. All these belts are in the way. Actually, I could probably use the same... Let me grab some track. I've got signals. Okay. I could probably use the same station that I'm using for iron to bring in stone. Because if I replace those with filtered mini loaders, I could have iron come out here and I could have stone come out the other side. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And we don't need that much stone, so on the stone side, I'll just merge everything into like 2 belts. Or no, 1 belt. I'll just merge everything into 1 yellow belt. Okay, so I'm gonna need 16 of these. Oh, geez. I need green circuits. Okay. Let me go back up there and get some... Actually, filter inserters are probably what I need more than the green circuits. Oh, okay. Yeah, they take 6 filter inserters each. That's quite a lot. All right, so there's 10, 15, 16. And I'm not super pleased with my graphics performance these days. It's kind of choppy. I think that probably has something to do with some of the mods that I'm using. Okay, yeah, so we'll start by replacing these with filters. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do these manually. You can't just drop it on top. Okay, and then we'll set this to iron ore. And I'll copy that setting all the way down. Okay, and then on this side, whoops, we'll do the same thing, but we're going to set this to stone. And copy all that, and then I need to get power on this side too. Okay, and then we can go ahead and set a request for stone. And I'll just set it to the same amount, minus 32,000. Okay, and then that'll trigger a delivery. Okay, looks like I've already got enough. Yeah, and I have the minimum request set on here to 16,000. So again, you know, like we've done elsewhere, we're only going to deal in full train loads for the big bulk items like ore and stone and coal. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out is as I was setting up the mining drills, around here I was running into several cases where I wanted to put a mining drill on the stone, but it was also getting some copper. So what I did is I just used the ore eraser to erase just a few very small tiles. Well, I mean, the tiles are all the same size, but I just erased a few tiles of copper just so that I could get this whole stone patch covered without picking up copper with these drills too. And when I set up the drills for copper, I may remove a few tiles of stone as well, just so I get better coverage. You know, it's not going to remove a lot of coal from the patch or anything. So I'm not too concerned about it from that perspective. Where's the train? Oh, here it comes. Okay. And I think I'm going to need another set of Nixie tubes, one for, because we're going to need one for stone as well. You know, it would be cool if we could if we could set up a little circuit that changed it from stone to iron back and forth. I could do that. All right, and then I'm going to put 2 alpha Nixie tubes. So I'll set this one. Oh, okay. And then I'm going to need constant combinators for those. All right, so I'll set this one to, what if I set it to stone? What does it do? Nothing. That's what I thought. All right, so we'll set that to S for stone. And I'll set this one to I for iron. All right, so now we can see our iron level and our stone level on the same displays, or the same set of displays. Okay. So let's set this up here to pull the stone out. There we go. All right, and then I think I can just run this straight up here. And then I'll have it merge over here. And I'm going to set the input priority on the left side so that we preferentially use what's coming from the mine so we can get that depleted, and then we'll fill in the belt with whatever's left or whatever's coming in by train. And that way we'll have a full belt of stone while we continue to use up our local supply here. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go start working on circuits. So like we did for mining, I'm going to set up the circuit build as if we already have modules and speed beacons, so that when I go to add them later, I won't have to change anything on the build. I'll just be able to add them in. Okay. Yeah, these, I think these termite bots are way overpowered. I don't think it should be that easy to... I mean, I think it should have a confined range rather than just continue to expand until it runs out of trees. Anyway, it's fast. so that's good. What the heck? Okay, that's weird. And then we've got a few trees over here. I'll just remove with the bots. There we go. Okay, so this is where it's going to start to get a little tricky because I need to come up with a layout that we can feed with belts and get. I want to at least have beacons covering from both sides. So I want to have like 2 sets of beacons on each assembly machine. So, what can I use to simulate? Well, I guess I'll have to use these. Okay, beacons are 3x3 tiles. All right, so let's just pretend that that is a set of speed beacons. In fact, what we can do is, oh no, I can't. I haven't even researched them yet. All right, so let's pretend that these are speed beacons here. Okay, and they will cover 3 tiles. So if you have a belt of material and an inserter in your machine, that's as far as you can go and still get affected by this beacon. If you move one more tile, then it's not going to affect it anymore. So this is, at most, you can have 2 tiles between the beacons and the assembly machines. Now, when you're using productivity modules, you get 40% more output. So whereas here I'm using 3 circuit machines to 2, or 3 copper wire machines to 2 circuit machines. When you have the modules and stuff, you can go to a 1-to-1 ratio. And I'll show you that here real quick. If we add, let's add a green circuit recipe. And just for illustration purposes, we'll calculate this for 100 machines making green circuits. Okay, and then I'll add in the copper wire. So normally you would need 150 copper wire per 100 circuits, which is the 3-to-2 ratio that I mentioned. But if we load productivity modules in these, okay, now you can see that you need 108 copper wires per 100 circuit machines, which is, it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio, but it's close enough that I'm not gonna try to add another copper wire machine for every 10 circuit machines. So once you add modules and everything, and then we'll put speed modules in the beacons, and with that we'll be making, I mean, if we had 100, we would be making 50,000 circuits a minute, which is pretty insane. All right, so 1-to-1 ratio is what we're going to set this up as. So normally what you would do is you would set them up like this. Well, and actually these would be offset. You need to offset the beacons because that way you can get 4 beacons affecting one machine rather than only 3. Right, 1, 2, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, because this one will affect it too. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because this one will just touch that one as well. All right, so anyway, so these are beacons on that side. All right, so let's say this is copper wire, or let's say this is the circuit. This then would be iron plate in this example. Okay, so there's a belt of iron plate. And then these could be the copper wire. Just copy those. Okay, and then in this case, what I would do is put a stack inserter. Oh, I'm sorry. this could be, no, that's right. Yeah, and that's why this can often be easier when you're using bots, because you can just put inserters in chests and they don't take up as much space, but when you use belts, it tends to get cramped. All right, so this, actually what we could do here is, this could be copper plate. And then we can put a stack inserter, and since we're using adjustable inserters, we can have them go at a 90-degree angle to feed the copper wire into the machines. And then we can put our output belt here. All right, so if we do that, so copper, iron, and then the output would come down here. Right, and we would set one to a near inserter and one to a far inserter. So with the adjustable inserters, this becomes a lot easier than it would be if we weren't using them, because then we wouldn't be able to do this 90-degree thing. We would have to have these like insert into a chest and then from the chest over, whatever. But with the adjustable inserters, we can make a simpler layout. Unfortunately, this doesn't leave any room for substations, which means that we'll have to cover it with medium power poles, which is a little, I don't know, it's a little inefficient, but it's not terrible. And then we can put lights there. All right, so let me get rid of that. So this is, yeah, I think this will work pretty well. Actually, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the planner again. Let's run this for one machine. All right, so fully beaconed and moduled out. And let's do this by the second. Okay, now this is saying 2, but it's just because it has to round it up. It's really like 1.08. So each one of these is going to give me 6.5 per second. Or we're going to consume 6.5 copper plates per second. And a fully upgraded stack inserter can move about 27 per second. So 27 divided by 6.5 is 4. Why am I doing that calculation? I don't know. No, I need, okay. I want to see how much I can put on a blue belt with blue belts. All right, so if I have one blue belt of copper, that's 40 per second. Divide that by 6.5. That's a little bit more than 6. Okay, so I can have 6 of these on a single blue belt. Yeah, and it's a little bit less for the copper. Oh, now the output is going to be 8.4 per second. So what's 40 divided by 8.4? That's 4.7. So even though I could feed it, I could feed 4 of these or 6 of these with the copper plate. I won't be able to accommodate the output. So I can only have 4 of these to get a full blue belt on the output side. All right, so we're going to have to put this together in sets of 4. I'm going to update to red belts for now. Let's do, where does that come in? Right here? Yeah. Or no. That needs to go that way. Yep. Okay. All right, so I think it's tileable like this. Yeah. Okay. So let's copy this. Let's just make sure. And then if I do one more of those, I think everything connects. Right, and then the last one, I don't need to go underground. And actually the first one, I don't need to go underground either. Okay, so that's one unit. Oh, let's go back and look at this again. I'm going to need 6 iron plates a second. Let me check. I need to check the Factorio cheat sheet for a moment, because I don't remember how fast a blue inserter can go from a belt to a machine. Oh, and actually that stack inserter number that I came up with, that's from a box to a box. When we're going from belts, it's not as fast. So stack inserter from a belt to a machine is 12.2 per second, and it's 5.6 per second for a fast inserter. 12.2 and 5.6. Okay, so that means that I need stack inserters to take off the belts. Actually, I need to change all of those to stack inserters. So I'll just add that to this. So we're going to change blue to green. Okay. Let's see. What else am I missing? And that's near, that's far, that's far, that's near. Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. And then later on we can upgrade this to blue belts. But we'll build it like this in units of 4. So if we bring in a train with 40 slots, it's going to hold 4,000 plates. So if I want a copper train coming every 2 minutes, $4,000, that means I want to consume 2,000 per minute of copper on one copper station. Okay, so let's see how many factories we can get before we exceed 2,000 per minute. Looks like it's going to be a lot. Okay. Yeah, so I think I can probably just fill this whole thing up with assembly machines, and I will never exceed 2,000 plates a minute. Okay, we're up to like 240 assembly machines in this grid. All right, so we can pack these in as many as we can. But let's set up the stations first. Okay, that's a loading station, but I can use this. I can mirror this to make an unloading station. Whoops. Let's try that again. My mouse button released prematurely. Oops. Okay, and copper's the biggest consumer, so I'll set up the copper down here. We'll have the iron over here, and then the output at the top of the grid, and then I can put a passenger station over on the right side. Oh, phew. I'm glad I remembered to get rid of that. What do you call it? The combinator. All right, I need 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then, so I need to reverse, what is it, Shift Control R? Would that work? No. I need to reverse direction on all these so that we can unload. With the loaders. There we go. Okay, and we need a logistics stop. All right, so we're going to call this green circuits 1 copper. All right, and this is going to read copper plate. All right, and let's put our combinator. Okay, so as usual, 1 train at a time. Minimum length is 12. I'm going to set a provide threshold to a very high number so that it never gets considered a provider, because we're only going to receive plates here. We're not going to send any out. I want my request threshold to be a full train, which is going to be 32,000. And the request is going to be for double that number of copper plates, which is 64,000. And I think that's everything that I need. Where else am I requesting stuff? Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. Now I'm going to hook that up, and we should be getting our first delivery, first pickup and first delivery of plates. So let's watch this for a moment and make sure that everything works like we think it should. And this is going to the B station just because that one is closer, or that one has a shorter path. Okay, so it's loading up. Not super fast with the yellow there. Looks like it'll take, I don't know, 30 seconds or so to fill up. Yeah, so before too long, I'll probably come back and start upgrading all these to red mini loaders. The thing is, I'm not automatically making red mini loaders in the main base, so I think I'll do that before, in between this episode and the next one, so that I can start carrying around stacks of red mini loaders. All right, how we doing? 24, 25. I think it'll finish before it times out. 31 and 32. There it goes. And then it immediately leaves because I removed that option that requires it to wait. Okay. Now in this case, it has to go all the way around in order to enter this station, which is kind of a drawback of this type of station on the grid. Okay. I did set that to read copper plate, didn't I? Oh, it's on the wrong... It's on the wrong one. It's got to be on the least significant bit, which is this one. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so it unloads fairly slowly as well. But again, that's easy to upgrade. We can double that by replacing these with reds, and we can triple it by replacing it with blues when we get to that point. And if we decide later that we need it even faster, let's see, 4 blues. No, 4 blues is going to be about as fast as you can get, even if I had 6 stack inserters. The only way to get it faster would be to unload from both sides. So at this rate, 4,000, yeah, if I have 4,000 per wagon, why is this one taking so long? That's strange. I wonder if I might have missed, yeah, that's why. That one didn't get reversed. There we go. Okay, and then it'll go for another load. Okay. Yeah, so we can have 8. Yeah, so if I have 8 blue belts coming out of here, that means I can only have 8 of these. So I'm not going to be able to fill this. I'm not going to be able to fill this grid up, even if I wanted to. Right, because remember we were looking at, hundreds of machines and still not being able to consume all those blue belts. Right, so if I just have this at 8 times 4, 32, then I'm only going to need 205 copper plates a minute. And if it's 4, okay, or the other way to look at it is maybe they don't need to be blue belts. Yeah, because if I have 4 machines, I'm only going to be consuming 26 copper plates a minute, or per second, which is actually just below what a red belt can handle. So I could have like 2 red belts coming out of each one of those silos. And then that way I can have 16 times 4. I could have 64 of them instead of only 32. And then I don't have to upgrade. And then at that point, the only blue belt that I need is going to be on the output side for the circuits themselves. Okay, so let's do this. And then I'm not going to balance coming out, because who wants to deal with the 16 by 16 balancer? I'm short by 1 red mini loader. There we go. Or no, I need 2 more. What is the problem here? It's blue. What is that telling me? That... What the heck? Why is it blue? It's not unloading. picking up 32. And then it's waiting until it's, oh. Okay, I need to clear the limitation on these silos. There we go. Now it can unload. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Come back. Oh, no. Okay, so I'll have to wait for this to fix itself, and then I'll just send it back to the depot manually. Okay, but I shouldn't have that problem again. Okay, well, anyway, we're over time, so thanks for staying until the end. I appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.